So hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So what I have here today is the 2024 Chevrolet Trax LT. So this is the base model of the Trax lineup here in the Philippines. And speaking of, what I have here on the left side is the Trax RS top of the line variant. So I already did my walk around tour and test drive of this here at Chevrolet Makati. Link of that will be in the description down below. So as well too, I did the middle variant too, the Trax Redline, which is my favorite variant. So what do you get now with this base model? You all know me, I am a big fan of base model vehicles, and got to be honest, compared with the Trax top of the line model, this still looks pretty good. Although one nitpick only with this Trax LT, you don't get black bow tie badges here anymore, and this entire grille and the front fascia is all chromed out now compared, with the Redline and this RS variant. Ground clearance is still the same at 186 millimeters, but few more cute changes here. You get silver trims now here at the front bumper compared to the gloss black, but at least still here for this Trax LT, you get LED DRLs and headlights all around. LED repeaters here too on the side mirror. The LT has body colored side mirrors now compared to the black of this RS and the Redline middle variant. So big eye-catching difference now too with this LT base model. Here on the side profile, well, it looks generally the same, but this time you get 17 aluminum wheels. There as well a 3-spoke design compared to the 18-inch wheels of the RS and the Redline variant. Still, the Redline variant is still my favorite choice of wheels. And two, as you can see here on top of this LT variant, there are no more roof rails, and as well it is body colored compared to the black top of the Redline and the RS yet again. So buying this Trax LT is still the same, but I'll show you still anyways. So this one is still powered by a 1.2 liter turbocharged 3-cylinder engine that produces 137 horsepower and 220 Newton meters of torque. And yet again, it is mated to a 6-speed automatic transmission. So yet again, being a 3-cylinder engine, one of the characteristics of it that, as you can see in this shot, it tends to vibrate, hence with the odd number of cylinders. But like what I said in the RS test drive review, it does not transmit to the cabin. So I wonder if this LT will do the same. So here now at the rear of this Trax LT base model, well, as you can see, it kind of looks the same like with the rest of the Trax models. However, now you get gold bow tie badges here instead, and LT badge here on the right side. Also, look at the Trax badge here now. It's no longer blacked out. This one's just the regular chrome. And here too with the rear bumper, it's not gloss black. It's a silver trim yet again. And your spoiler is as well body colored, not again gloss black. Big difference now here at the rear. Sadly for this LT base model, this one has a manual tailgate instead. And two, as you can see, there's no more cargo tray. So anyway, the aftermarket is there to supply you with that. So underneath, you have a space saver donut type tire, and then threading hooks on either side. And finally, if you saw my Trax RS Walkaround review, I never knew what these latches were here on the left side, but I found out now there are for your EWD, and as well you have a halogen light here on the left side. So with all of the seats up, it's pretty much the same, around 500 liters, and when you fold all of the seats down, it totals to 1,405 liters. So pretty spacious still. So yeah, that's about it with the exterior, the engine, and the boot of this Trax LT. Let's check out the interior. So here now in the interior of the Trax LT, so let's start her up since it's so freaking hot today. So yeah, there's a lot more going on than usual now compared with the higher variants. There are a lot of changes here now too in the interior of this Trax LT. And first thing I immediately noticed, you get manual adjustments for all of the seats now, even for reclining and your height adjustment. I will need that on. I think you know why already. So here in the door card, yeah, it's all plastic now, and then squeegee material here now for your elbows. But what I like too, you still get leather here, but this time it's all white with blue stitching. Pretty interesting color choice here. So here on the left side of the dashboard, you have your light controls here yet again, and this time around your air conditioning vents, they're blue now. Right, I actually like this blue too compared with the reds of the RS and the Redline model. And yeah, the interior still looks pretty good. So you have silver trims all around here that stretches all the way to the passenger side. So biggest eye-catching feature now that has been changed with the rest of the Trax models, this time you have an analog tachometer and speedometer, along with the 3.5-inch monochromatic display in the middle. I find it very weird only to adjust the settings there in the middle. You have to do it here all in the stock. It may be hard to find for a first timer, but then again, I got used to it pretty quickly. But I wish it's just a dedicated button here on the steering wheel. And speaking of the steering wheel here now, it's leathered compared to the leather perforated compared with the top of the line models. So here on the left side, you have your cruise control and forward collision warning here, and then on the right side, you have your volume and phone connectivity buttons here. The steering wheel feels still nice to the touch, but it's less chunkier than that of the higher variants now. And two, you still have an infotainment system, but this one is only at 8 inches. It's still small, but at least you still have Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Shout out to this viewer who commented on my Trax test drive part 2 review that this has Apple CarPlay as long as your cable is original. So that's why I found here when I pressed on the settings button on the apps, it said Apple CarPlay was present. So yeah, it's a little bit confusing that some of the models like the Trax RS that I encountered, I didn't see any Apple CarPlay indication here whatsoever, only Android Auto. But good to know now, Apple CarPlay exists in every Trax brand as long, again, you have the original cable. So the controls here in the infotainment system for climate is all here, pretty easy to understand. And then reverse camera over here. Okay, so as well, it's smaller, but at least you still have the movable guidelines, which is pretty handy. And then I discovered something too with the driving dynamics of this, but I'll share that later on during the test drive. So below here, you have your air conditioning vents and your climate control functions down below. Yet again, it's surrounded in gloss black. And further down, you have a 12-volt socket, USB-C port, USB port, and a cubby space for your phone. There's no more wireless charging pad, sadly, for this LT base model, but at least it still kept your auto hold function and your lane departure warning. I didn't expect that Chevrolet will keep this for the base model. So here around in the gear shift, pretty much the same. You have your electronic parking brake, 2 cup holders, and a cubby space yet again for your phone. Further behind, another cubby space, pretty much fits my phone. And then here, center console box. Okay, it's narrow, but it's pretty deep at least. Then above here, you have your halogen lights along with your safety reminder still. Very good. And then visor, you have only a vanity mirror, and yeah, they don't extend. Oh yeah, comparing now, I'll just confirm, yep, with the red line model, this has the same ceiling color here. It's the white material compared to the black of the Trax RS. And another big eye-catching difference here now too is the seats over here. There's still some leather parts in it, but the rest of it here in the middle is all fabric. And I like this gray diamond pattern that fades in all the way here to your thighs, which actually I like the design of this, pretty cool. And bolstering pretty much the same, and got to be honest, the red line seats are still among my favorites. However, for this fabric of the LTs, still pretty good and pretty much more easier to maintain for obvious reasons. So yeah, that's about here in front of this Trax LT base model. So let's check out the rear seats. So these are the rear seats of the Trax LT. So here in the door card this time, everything now is sadly plastic. But anyway, I forgive it because it's the base model. So well, notice now too, you only get one map pocket right behind the right front passenger seat, and thank God they still retain this. Here in the middle, you have one USB-C port, a USB port, and 2 air conditioning vents. Well done, Chevrolet. Above here, you have your halogen lights, and oh, you have microphones over here. Oh yeah, that's present too in every Chevrolet Trax model. I'm surprised that this still has the voice command button. So yet again, good job. So here in the middle, you have a central armrest with 2 cup holders, and then surprisingly, this one is all leather here in the middle. And speaking of the seats here, pretty much the same, but I found hilariously there's more leather present here than the ones in front. You still have the fade out diamond pattern here that stretches here to the thighs, and space here in the back just as good as any other Trax models. Feet room, knee room, and headroom is good throughout. No sunroof again for this LT base model. And if I sit here in the middle, pretty much easy, a little bit more comfortable because this is all leather now in the middle. No transmission tunnel yet again. Sitting 3 or 4 people will be perfect here in the back. So yeah, that's about it with the interior of this Trax LT base model. Let's have a drive. So driving this Trax LT, so first thing I discovered, since I always leave the auto hold function on, I noticed the transmission is eager to move forward. So I found it a little bit jerky. I mean, I'm not sure if it's just down to this unit, but anyways, I put the auto hold on, it completely rectified that. So here driving, 50 kilometers per hour immediately around here in Pasong Tamo. Feels more or less the same like with the rest of the models. One key feature I found different compared with the rest of the Trax lineup, these are running on Hankook compared to the good years of the Trax RS and Redline models. And then here with the 6-speed automatic transmission, okay, it's not the fastest thing in the world, but nor it's the slowest. That's what everyone praises with these Trax models. They drive really smooth, and there's some pep to it too. I did take note too, I do prefer the driving dynamics, gotta be honest, with the Trailblazer crossover models, even though that's just a little bit cheaper. Sorry, just being honest. But anyways, I will not take this away with these Trax models in general. They're really good crossovers to drive. And remember, there's no driving modes here for this, well, the entire Trax models here. So you only have manual mode here, and plus minus are also located here beside the gear shift itself. They're buttons. I just wish there are a better layout. And then here, okay, body lean, not that much. The right and the body roll is pretty pliant too, and yeah, it's smooth, as I have to say. I cannot give a better word to describe the driving of this. It's pretty smooth, and as well, like the same throughout the Trax lineup, the steering is really light, but there's some heft to it, so at least it's not too light nor numb to use. Then yeah, I noticed too, surprisingly, there's a little bit less tire noise with these Hankook tires compared with the Goodyear for some reason only. Maybe it's down that these have smaller wheels. As I said, these are only 17-inch wheels compared to the 18s of the higher models. And VH pretty much the same. I ran over a metal sheet. Yeah, pretty good too, and the ride is really comfortable. And now to compared with the Trax RS test drive review, gotta be honest, I found the hood just a little bit longer, so I got used to it pretty quickly. So that's the forward collision warning doing its thing. Then here, let's try a little bit bumpier road. Okay, so far so good. Yes, the suspension, there's some firmness to it, but it's no means an uncomfortable car. I mean, look at that, soaks up the bumps and humps pretty well. And visibility all around too, so I was just flailing this around in the car park itself. The visibility is pretty good. As you can see, that corner window may be really small, however, it gets the job done at least. And to the reverse camera, like what I said, at least there is, I thought being a base model, they will remove the feature. Then let's try now D mode. So as well, I left it in manual mode before in the RS test drive reviews. I did 2 parts of that, by the way. I found it very, got to be honest, a little bit sluggish to use, like shifting up and down. But it's best that I just leave it in drive, and it does the job pretty well. So I just leave it in D at all times. And off the line, seems pretty good too. And then as well, overtaking will be very much be easy. Then here, off the line, pretty responsive. And then, whoa! Wow! Yep, still as good as ever. Yeah, just a little bit more pep, gotta be honest again, with the Trailblazer crossovers. But this truck is really good, I have to say. Well, is it as good as the Tracker? Not so sure about that. You know me, I'm still spoiled with the Tracker. But nevertheless, this is a very good crossover to drive. And then just floor, there's not much throttle delay too, nor turbo lag. So that's what I like too with Chevrolet crossovers. I never experienced throttle delay. It does give it the characteristics of these trucks of being very smooth. There, look, lunges forward immediately. At slow speeds, yeah, there's some delay only with the transmission, but the throttle itself is very good. But once you get moving, actually, it still does the job surprisingly. And then fuel economy wise, yeah, it's pretty much the same like with the rest of the Trax lineup. So my best one was actually above 11 kilometers per liter around in Rockwell. Remember, I was just light-footed back then. And then here during my Trax test drive review the following months, I did 9 kilometers per liter around in the city. I don't think that's a bad thing at all. I mean, yes, this may be a little bit steep with this price, but it does make up for it with its fuel efficiency. Literally consider this crossover for its fuel efficiency alone. And yet again, this has some pep to it. That's why yeah, this Trax is really good to drive. So now for the price of all this, yes, this is one of the biggest talking points of every Trax model. The Trax RS costs 1,948,000 pesos. Alright, it's already in the 2 million peso mark, but for this LT base model, this one costs 1,793,000 pesos, a whopping 155,000 peso difference, and to it's 71,000 pesos more affordable than the red line variant, the middle tier, my favorite one. To be honest with this LT, it's got everything already. I mean, yes, the infotainment system is much smaller, but you have Apple CarPlay, let's not forget, and Android Auto, reverse camera, and as well, let's not forget to with all the technology and safety features here too, and as well around in the engine, since there's a lot of high-tech stuff going on there. Yeah, this is pretty much complete for me already. And yeah, what else to say with this Trax LT base model? Okay, this could be, my opinion only, my new favorite Trax model. Yes, I don't have the black bow tied badges, but I think you can do it anyways at the aftermarket. Fallen in love suddenly with this Trax LT, so hopefully people will take this now into consideration. But still, the red line is still the most popular variant I've just asked in Chevrolet Makati. So yeah, that concludes my review of this Trax LT model. I'd like to thank everyone here at Chevrolet Makati and to Chevrolet Philippines for providing this base model, and to Ma'am Jonah who assisted me here in this test drive. So hope you guys like and subscribe, and I will see you with more Chevrolet reviews coming right up. Bye bye.